it would be nice to reach out to the board and they can appoint you.
Yes. Out of
It doesn't
election
have to
cycle.
be an annual meeting, it could be 2 months from now, so please keep that back in mind.
I keep trying to talk my wife into it, because she works locally, and, well, I don't know, for those of you who've never seen, you've never seen her here. She says, no, that's yours. I said, well, you know, we both live here.
How much
So-
of a commitment is it? Like, how many?
At most, it'd be an hour a week that we're looking for, at most. For the at-large members, I honestly think it was maybe about an hour a month. With the biggest time being talking to neighbors. I mean, that's the time that takes up, you know, someone stops you in the driveway or on the road and you're 50 minutes in, you know.
And we have 5 meetings a year. You have the annual meeting, which we're here tonight, and then there's
1 hour and 2 hours.
one quarterly meeting each quarter, which generally they last about an hour. And during those meetings, if you haven't attended one before, the board goes over, you know, gets feedback from the community about what needs to be improved on or what we can do, and we obviously have stuff that you guys aren't aware of that we need to take care of. And we each get assignments, and it's just like doing a report. When the next meeting comes around, that's when you give your report, give results, and
So like one of the volunteer things that we were looking to do, there's 4 volunteer positions looked on the door, was somebody to manage a contract. So we had this contract for competition coming up for the lawn mowing service. Well, it's a couple hours to put together, you know, what we want mowed and draw some pictures on the aerial diagram, and then calling 10 vendors and faxing it or emailing the package over to them, collecting the bids. You know, what does that take? 3 hours or 4 hours in a month?
and then you're
And
done.
then in the next quarter, we'll probably move towards the signs or handyman or what have you, but, you know, each of us has kind of, the secretary job is pretty regular because there's a lot of minutes that have to be done fairly regularly and requirements that have to be done. And the treasurer, we're paying bills every week, so I'm in the system paying bills every week or looking at contracts.
He
But
does.
but the bottom line is for the at-larges, it's really being part of the community. And the community has been very, very good. You know, we have, I think, a 2% that is very, very vehemently vocal. And if you thicken your skin, then you listen to them and you try to do the best you can. But I think Jack is right. You know, you can't take a position here and think you're going to keep people happy, because you can't. The position that you take is, we by law are established to make sure that the monuments, the common areas remain safe, up to date, and the community looks as good as possible by the original covenants. That said, it does not include the natural wear and tear that occurs on the community. There's a point where it becomes, the paint is peeling off your building and you have to repaint it, right? So, but is that at the 7th year, the 9th year, the 11th year, at any given time, half of the buildings are looking kind of raggedy because they're at the 70% of their life. But, you know, it's good that you meet Helene. Helene is the balanced, hired director that comes out and does every inspection on every house. And this year,
April through October.
the board is actually going to try and send out a reminder ahead of time, before spring hits. The inspections are going to be done in April. The 3 things that everybody gets hit for is power washing the sides of their buildings, lawn,
And faded doors.
and faded doors and
and
shutters. And, you know,
Or debris in front of your home.
and you know, actually, by trying to be a little more proactive, we're trying to, because nobody likes to get the nasty gram in the mail. We all like to think that we're doing our thing, to keep our house better and livable or what have you, and it's almost shocking to us all when something shows up and someone is unhappy with it. So if we can try to avoid that this year, that's kind of the plan anyway. But we would love, you know, and we promise you can quit at any time. So it's all volunteer. You can say, I'm tired, I'm out. You know.
Any type of help that you can give.
But even just helping, you know, come on over to the house. Okay? Yes? You can do that. You said everything.
All right, so now we're on the old business, and from the meeting minutes of last year, the only new business from last year, which is the old business now, was the 2016 bank disclosure and resolution document. And
Did we sign that one?
I'm pretty sure it's our, yeah.
Yeah, we took
The
care of it.
motion was to accept FSR, bank change to NCB,
Yes, we signed that, got care of it.
and it's all taken care of, so. That will wrap up any old business from last year. Number 10 is new business. Our next meeting will be next month, our first quarter meeting. And as it's been shown today, we are looking for people to help join the board here, because right now we have 3 of us. We usually generally have a board of 5. I'm not sure of one of our board members' status. She's not feeling well today, so I don't know what her status is staying on the board or not. But we're always looking for help, and we can appoint people to do whatever tasks that we need, that they feel comfortable helping with.
So a couple that are open that will just toss out there, so if it sounds like you like it, then you can do it, is one, the architectural review or the violation review. Horace, you know this, but when the inspections are done, generally she goes ahead, FSR, our management company, goes ahead and has a computer system, so it's all uploaded, the computer handles and mails it out. There are times when there are some that are questioned, is it really that mildewy or not? And so, in the old days, there were people, ideally, we would have someone review that report, which can run to 30, 40 pages, depending on how many violations we have that are old and new or unfixed. And someone goes through and says, yes, valid, no valid, what have you, because eventually the computer begins billing, docking you for fines or what have you. Now, I know that we haven't been aggressively pursuing that, but I know that we've talked about it in the past.
How it happens is you will receive, and I do attach pictures, and you will get one notice, and let's say give you 30 days, depending on what it is. If it's your grass is knee deep, you're gonna get 1 week to get that taken care of. However, if it is your shutters need to be replaced or repainted, I'll give you 30 days. And then I'll come by the 35th day or so and do another inspection, at which time I will take another picture. And if it is not done again, I will give you another 30 days, because I understand sometimes life just gets in the way. You're working, you're on vacation, you're ill, something may come up. However, when I go for the 3rd time, and I see that it has not been done, you will be issued a hearing. And what that entails is the next time that they have a board meeting, the board has a right to fine you or extend, your violation. And then you will receive a hearing letter with what the board has decided to do.
So tell everybody how many communities you do here in the area, just so that they
I
know.
have 14.
So 14 communities, 100 houses per community.
I have a whole strip on that.
Helene, the important thing to notice is that I used to live in a community up in Woodbridge where we had this 22-year-old person, and nothing against 22-year-old person, but she was by the book, crawling, and it was a disaster because there were thousands of, everybody was getting a complaint. I've been very pleased with Helene because she tends to be very, very balanced. I don't think in the last couple of meetings we haven't had an issue. We haven't run into anybody who's been upset about a complaint, so.
I'm sure that the fact that you attach the picture is proof in itself.
And speaking as one of the people that received one of her pictures, and actually, for the life of me, I looked at the picture and it talked about, cleaning my siding, and I looked at the pictures and I couldn't find anything in those pictures. Taking the pictures and going and looking, I said, well, I can't see anything where she is. However, I did find this, so yeah, it needs to be cleaned anyway, so I cleaned it, but I didn't really know whether I took care of what she saw, because I couldn't find what she saw.
Then I'll maybe put an arrow that's kind of like fuzzy, because sometimes it may be, there could be in between, let's say on
Yeah,
the rooftop,
so,
and underneath the windows, it may be a little fuzzy when else.
and so I sent the email, I said, well, I took care of it, and I'm just sitting there going, hopefully I got the right stuff. But, I cleaned what I could, and they said, okay, so,
Yeah, I think I sent you a thank you.
yes, you did, as a matter of fact.
So one of those volunteer roles was to review the architectural issues and concerns others have. The other is as we're doing vendors, You know, Diane was wonderful, she would maintain the grass vendors and the lawn landscaping vendors, and if there was a moment that they were out of line, she would know the email wires would get hot, we'd know the landscaping vendor. So we would ask for someone who had some maybe general contracting skills to oversee as we go through and redo the signs, and we repave roads, and we repaint signs and ponds, or what that kind of stuff was. Right now, there's a secretary opening on, as one of the officers, which is a mandatory position on the board. We have to keep a secretary, so.
Right now, I'm president and secretary.
So, you know, one of us will have to double up, or you're gonna sign up for it, if we can convince them. But the bottom line is, they're out on the board out there, but they're very minor things. I mean, the important thing to note is not one of us on the board ever attacks one of our neighbors. That's not the way that we do business. The way the business is being done is the professional management company is the one that judges and juries everything. So bring your concerns to us, and we'll shoot them over to the management company, and if the management company feels it's there, they do it. She is completely independent, she looks at all the, and she tells me that we're consistently are the top rated, or one of the top two top rated neighborhoods in the entire Fredericksburg area. So,
It's very well maintained. I mean, you'll have here and there, and you can't help it, you're gonna get molding every once in a while. If you haven't power washed your house in 6 years, it's gonna happen. You're gonna get faded shutters, the sun beats down on it. It's just that you stay with, the best thing is actually is to keep it with the original color that was there, to repaint it back to that. I understand that you have colonial colors.
or earth tone colors.
Or earth tone, which is the best
Just
amount.
match
Just
it.
make it look pretty, just don't make it neon green, you know, something that's gonna stick out. Because, trust me, maybe on that color chart. But, like I said, I will be once, and if you can't make it, please contact me, I am more than willing to work with you before you get that hearing notice. I don't want to issue you one, and I'm sure the board does not.
And we very, very, very much want more people on the board. Not so much that there's not that much work, it's just we need every perspective. We have two different constituencies, we have the estates and we have the non-estates, right? We have family, and then we have retirees, and we have military, and we have don't. And so, you know, the more variety that we have up here, the better an answer we're gonna give to all of you, the better of an integrated team that will be, you know. So it's not really, I don't think that people don't want to work. I think it's mostly because of time commitments. Everyone's afraid to sign up for more time commitments. But it's also, you know, the perception of all Americans, I think, against HOAs and POAs is that there's a lot of complaints and fire. And there is.
Yeah, there's some.
There is. I mean, people don't stop me to say hi. People stop me to say, oh, you got this or that or what have you, you know. But the bottom line is, that's what we're doing. I mean, it's a little bit of volunteer. The thing that's great, the reason to do it, the reason to volunteer, is you meet all your neighbors. And you get to know them, and you get to know their families. And importantly, when we have a police riot or something going on, or something's going on, you know, we know. And those of you who've been attending regularly know we've had 3 policemen, sheriffs from the neighborhood watch come out and give us briefings and talk to us about prevention. And we've added the River Club website to try and get the news out and the sign out front, and but participating is the way that you get to know us all.
Okay. Anything?
I'm just learning.
Alright. No worries there, alright. Well, I got nothing, the only other thing, it's official, gang. We finally have the application for architectural change. So, if you are going to make a change to your house or property,
We have a
you
form,
need to contact us because we have a form you have to complete.
Is there a link on the website?
and we'll put that on the FSR website.
Yeah, Colleen just provided that to us tonight.
Now, for those of us that haven't read any of the documents since we moved in, what types of changes fall into the scope of that and need to be that, or?
Well, I think the one, you know, the board over the last couple of years has had some real differences about repainting, because we're at the age of the house where a lot of things have to be repainted. And the board is at the point now where the covenants and bylaws very clearly say colonial, exactly, quote, colonial colors or earth tone colors. So as long as you're repainting, maintaining your house in those areas, I don't think that it qualifies for the architectural change. It's a substantive improvement. If you require a permit of any form, then then you have to come through the architectural change
Well,
process.
And just go like
It's not-
put a fence or a deck.
Fence
Or a
or
pool.
shed or-
That's what I was
yeah,
gonna say, and the location too, it has to be so many
absolutely.
feet away from your neighbor's fence line, there's just different things, height. Typically, if you do a shed, the shingle should match what the existing roof is on your home, as long as if you have siding, the same color should make it look like a little mini. And again, location, if, like Don said, if you're going to repaint, also installing fences to make sure that it's been done properly. You really don't have, under your governing documents, height restrictions as you can see in the community.
6 feet.
No, what we,
6 feet
what,
is the
what
word.
the community does, what the board, so within the homeowners, within our boundaries, we have a degree of adjustments, but the only houses that don't qualify, all the houses on the river also have the Rappahannock Conservation Authority, the Army Corps of Engineers, and you have a historical society, which I didn't know existed, but there's a historical society
The
that exercises,
Association for the Preservation of Civil War.
Civil War.
and it's all along the houses